What?
What just happened?
Welcome to another episode of Into the West Comics. My name is Frank.
Oh,
Sonny is here.
what's going on? How are you today? That is hilarious.
I'm doing great.
What
Doing
a
good.
strange start to the show.
I know,
it's
right?
There's a weird energy. It's probably coming from our variant,
It could
my
be.
variant.
Your variant.
Jonathan is here.
Yo.
Hi.
Also, he's got the weird energy going.
Ugh.
And of course, Hot Dog Paul is here.
Salchicha, baby.
I didn't know you were
this-
bilingual.
This is going to be an interesting one.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun one.
Are you going to be the translator tonight?
Me? Yeah, of course. Yo quiero mucho corazón.
Okay. I wish everybody could just be in the studio just so they can hear all the back stuff.
I wish you could be here 5 minutes before.
Every time.
everything starts, because
Patreon coming soon.
It is.
It's happening. Guys, we have a lot to get into
Yeah,
and go over for this week.
we do.
Some of us were patient. Like you get the Christmas gift,
Oh
yeah.
and you're like, they say you can open one present.
Oh,
Okay.
And we opened
Some
one.
people open one or two,
Mm-hmm.
and some just opened everything. Yesterday,
Woo!
they congratulate each other. Yesterday, on the Plus, they released Star Wars Visions,
Yeah.
which is from a bunch of different well-known animators, anime studios that are like very popular,
Oh,
really
yeah.
well-known amongst their culture
Mhm.
for all the different styles of animation. I mean, we saw some really cool things. I only saw 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Paul only saw 1 or 2.
I watched one.
Okay. These guys watched all of it.
We watched the whole thing. Yeah, I didn't wait. I didn't think that they were going to release all of them. So when the first one ended and it said play next episode, I was like, oh, this is trouble. I'm watching this whole thing.
Yeah.
9 episodes, and they're not that long either. It's varying from 22 to I think the shortest one was what 12 minutes.
12 minutes, yeah.
So it was really good. The animation was spectacular. I cannot believe you guys didn't finish it.
So something that like seems like a really nerdy thing to talk about. The sound is like I've only seen one episode, but the sound design in it was incredible.
Kind
It
of
was-
crazy.
It like enhances everything about the show.
Yeah.
Everything. It's
That
so
first
cool.
episode.
The
Yeah.
first episode's fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Just the color sequence.
Yeah, it
Like-
made everything pop. All the
Yeah.
blasters and then the lightsabers were all a
So
certain
cool.
color. You were talking about the cast being stacked. I
It's
didn't know
stacked.
it had
Like-
this many people.
So I'm gonna just go through. So for the first episode, the biggest person really is like Lucy Liu.
Yeah,
right?
she was
Yeah,
the
the bad
Sith
guy.
Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Very cool. But then like as they go on, Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Didn't know that.
is the voice of the guy in the second episode.
Okay.
I can't really go into detail with
Yeah.
a lot of the characters just because there's a lot of cool like little twists that they do in the show.
Right.
Okay.
And it's quick. Bobby Moynihan, Neil Patrick Harris,
Didn't know that.
Allison Brie,
Okay.
Neil Patrick Harris. They're in the Twins episode, the brother and sister.
Oh.
okay.
Karen Fukuhara. That's the Katana from Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Who
Oh,
plays
sick.
F.
Okay.
Who
Yes.
is the Village episode. That's
Yes,
the
the
fourth
Village
episode.
Bride.
Uh-huh.
That episode
Incredible.
started like so like okay, it's just gonna be a nice little thing, and they just kept on like
Ramping it up.
it was really good. They did yeah. There's all these other people. David Harbour.
Okay.
You know, he's
What?
he's Tajin
Yeah.
in the 7th episode.
Oh.
So there's like all these other people.
I
George
did not.
Takei
I did not. Think
is one
it
of the
was that stacked.
voices in the
Oh my.
at the very end. Yeah, oh my.
That's so cool.
It's got all these crazy people, which just shows that they put a lot of work into it.
I did not think that it was
Um,
going to be as incredible as it was.
What did you guys think? I mean, like obviously you've seen a lot more of it than we did.
Mhm.
How did you guys think about just as far as it being in the overall Star Wars universe, whether it's going to be canonical or not?
Well, it's,
Well, how do you feel about it being the different animated styles? How did you guys like that?
it's really cool that it can't like it doesn't have to be canon,
Right.
and
Right.
you can still appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because like they changed enough stuff that it doesn't like mess with things. But like
Mm.
the
Yeah.
twins episode is definitely like an alternate reality,
hmm
and they go over some other like little things with like kyber crystals.
It
and
was
stuff.
almost like a what if Star Wars episode.
yeah.
Okay.
It was really cool.
And then some of them are more of like the original, what Star Wars is based on with like Seven Samurai,
Mhm.
and very much like there's the master and the student needs to rise up to defeat like the evil samurai or the evil shogun or whoever this
Mhm.
person is.
Right.
So a lot of them are set up in that way, and it's crazy because none of the episodes are like bad, like inherently bad.
No,
The animation and the sound design, like Paul was saying, is fantastic
all
across
the way
board.
through. Yeah.
There are some stories that you might not be super sold on.
Yeah.
There's like 2 that I don't think were good stories.
Right. I
But
agree.
they just make up for it if you don't need to listen to it.
That's what I was trying to say.
Right.
Like the good ones are so good that it overweighs the ones that are just kind of meh. Because there are 2 episodes, I would say like 2 or 3 that I was like, the animation is super cool. The music is amazing.
Mhm.
Clearly the cast is stacked. I'm not sold on the episode, but it's a cool one.
Yeah.
But the next one would be so cool that I'm like, oh, I love this show.
It like redeems itself.
Yeah.
Were you guys okay with the fact that they decided to release all of these at once, or do you think that they should have put like the first two? Like, what did they do with WandaVision? They put out the first 2 because they were shorter
Back to
episodes.
Yeah.
What if they released the first 2 and then you did week to week? Would you make this like an event type viewing?
I would be upset with the order that we got if it was like a week
Oh.
to week, just because like it's the 3rd episode is when you kind of get a feel for like the rotation. Like you're gonna get kind of this campy, you're gonna get the one that's serious, and then you're gonna get the one that's kind of like
Oh,
just
that's kind of what
whatever.
their pace
There's a
yeah,
little
is.
bit
they
of
have a
pace.
pace.
Okay.
They have a pace.
But they're not all like the same. Like
Mhm.
they're completely different. The only studio, well, I think that there's technically 2 studios that have double up. So like Trigger has the 3rd episode and has the 5th episode.
Yeah. Because
Um,
I think there's 9 episodes, and I think it's like 7 of them. They said 7 different studios are
Mhm.
doing them.
yeah, so one is like doubled up, but the first one that they do is like a completely different feel than like the next one that they do. So if they were like every week, you got this completely new experience. It might be too
Jarring.
much.
Well, and they're all extremely short, guys. Like
Well-
we're talking about 22 to
I've watched
12
them all
minute
twice
episodes.
already.
Yeah.
And that was what I was going to say, because I haven't watched them all, but I
Yeah.
do know that a large majority of them are 10, 20 minutes. 20 minutes is like pushing it for them, which it would have been weird. Like, would I have watched them on a weekly basis? Yeah. Would I have watched them as appointment viewing? No, probably not, because it's
Yeah.
like 10
Mhm.
minutes, and I'm like, I could
I can watch this whenever.
sit down
Right.
and
On the
watch
way to
this after
work, doing
yeah,
whatever.
And I'm glad that they let them all go at once, because like I can't enjoy them any way I want. We have
Right.
Frank watched 2. I watched 1, which I loved it. I didn't not keep watching them because I didn't want to. It was just like watching them. I was like, all right, I enjoyed that. I'm not gonna overload myself. I'm gonna think about it, and I'm gonna come here and talk about it.
No, right. No.
and then
I
you
get it.
2 watch, and there's nothing wrong with that. You shotgunned it because you were like,
did it.
I can't stop watching it.
Well, that's
which I get.
That's why, because one episode, the first one clearly sold all of us. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite. It's very
And see,
short.
Sorry, I don't mean
No,
to
you're
cut
good.
you off, but like, and I like kind of don't like hearing that the first episode was your guys'
The
favorite.
first is the best, and then the 5th is like a very close. like,
See,
the
and that
5th
just makes me
episode.
go. It makes me a little bit less excited to watch the rest.
They were
but
they were
it's-
smart though. You
Yeah.
want to put the best episode first.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's like they got you latched in,
Mhm.
so all the rest of the ride, like, oh, this is going to be a good roller coaster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing is so bad to where I'm like, like they should have saved this till later. The fighting, the art, the music, everything behind it was so good that I'm like, all right, you guys did it the right way. It was really good.
Is there a connection to? Sorry, Jonathan. Is there a connection between the episodes?
There's a couple of little like Easter eggs in a couple but none of them are related. Some are like 200 years apart.
Okay.
There's one android named kind of after a famous character. I don't want to ruin anything. So there's little connections.
There's connections to like greater Star Wars, and the second one, there's the most like Star Wars characters that we know, which is cool.
I noticed that.
But like, it's weird that there's episodes. So like the episodes are like The Duel, The Ninth Jedi, the
Bridge or the Village
Bride,
Village Bride,
The Twins, The Elder. Those episodes I think are like 1 point higher than all the ones without the in them.
Yeah.
So there's titles that are like Lop and Ocho.
which was a cool story.
It was cool,
But like the Elder was just like really badass.
really sick.
You
So
know
I
what
don't
mean?
know if there was something with that they were like kind of more so focusing on these stories, and then the other ones were kind of a little bit more like fun and a little bit like Tatooine Rhapsody is the second episode. So like Bohemian Rhapsody,
Yeah.
and it's like this music thing. It's super cool.
Right.
And you got Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like the main guy.
Right.
So like they didn't just like sleep on it. The
No, it's
animation's
cool.
still great.
Still super cool.
Super cool, but it feels like it's like the ones without the aren't supposed to be like the assertive ones, and these are kind of like the more like, hey, get your friends, watch this episode.
Okay.
It's nice and quick.
Right.
Don't really digest anything.
Yeah, because
the bigger episodes with that the moniker,
You know it's gonna be the one.
there's like a lot of stuff.
It's
Okay.
Like they could build off of it.
you have the Elder, and since the episodes are so short, you jump right into things, and it's like a Padawan and a Master, and they're exploring the Outer Rim, and you could tell like this Padawan like just wants action, and you know like from hearing it, he's gonna find that action, and he wants none of that smoke, you know.
Right.
And the Master has to come, and try and save the day, but like, does it happen? Who's this Elder? Like a dark Sith Lord from the Outer Reach. It's very jarring. I like
Okay,
it.
so we're gonna, after we've seen it all, after Paul
We'll
and I
come back and
watched it,
revisit this.
we'll revisit this, in the next couple of weeks or something. We'll get back together
I'm down.
about this and go over that.
I'm
But
down.
right now, though, as far as on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give the series overall? I mean, how would you, if you're evaluating the whole series, not
Okay.
episode by episode,
But just the whole.
what would you evaluate the whole nine episode?
So last night I finished everything, and I was like, "This is the coolest thing." It began and ended so sick. Like the end episode, it's so short, but it's very meaningful and
Nice.
it's very well done. That I was just like, "Oh, 10 out of 10. This is awesome." I slept on it. There are some lulls, but they aren't bad enough to even count them. I give it a solid 8.5.
I think it's a 9 out of 10
Nice.
if there wasn't one episode. But since there's another episode, it's an 8.
Okay,
But
you
there
tell
is
us
one-
you tell us the episode after we've watched it.
Exactly. But there's an episode that hurt my ears because of sounds that were in it. And I don't know if I was just being sensitive or my TV was loud. But there was too much. There was too much sounds in the episode that I'm like, I don't want to.
Sensory overload.
I don't think this is. I don't think this is good. I think this is like, how many sounds can we throw in here?
Okay.
So the first like
Okay.
2 minutes, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna mute the TV because I just did not.
Okay.
And I muted it for my second time I watched it. It was wonderful.
Interesting.
I couldn't tell what was going on because I
Wow.
didn't really remember it. But
So
Yeah.
I mean, as you can tell from two dudes that have binged the whole thing, it's very good.
Yeah,
That's-
for me, I give that first episode a 10 out of 10.
yeah,
and
thought
that's
the
the
first
one that
episode
I
was
would
great.
give a perfect
And
episode.
I like, because I think about it, and I'm like, was there anything I didn't like about it?
didn't watch it yet.
Was there any moment where I was like, okay, all right, whatever. No, I really, really enjoyed the whole thing. And this kind of like folds into maybe what we're going to talk about in a little bit, like with Venom being an hour and a half long. I love this because everyone gets locked into, like, especially recently, people like need all of their movies and shows to be 15 episode long seasons and 2.5, 3 hour long movies. And it's nice to just have something bite sized that isn't stretched out for the sake of being stretched out, adding
point.
plot and lore just for the sake of it to get it to feature length or whatever. And it's nice to just go, we made this. We didn't try to make this concise. We didn't try to make it long. We just tried to make what we set out to make.
Right.
yeah, that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
is there's like no. I mean, there's stuff that you want, but you're not missing anything from these episodes.
No,
They knew exactly how long it needed to be, and
Easy.
they did it.
you don't have any expectations because you know that the simplest way to break it down is, all these different amazing studios are giving their own rendition on a story that they made up. It has nothing to do. So there's no rules. There's no path.
Right.
Other than it's going to be anime style, and that alone should sell you and know that the resume is okay.
And another thing for me that's kind of a breath of fresh air with it is like I don't have to worry about people watching it and going, Luke would never do that.
Right.
Like, oh my God. And that's not anything to do with any of the shows or movies. That's to do with how annoying people can be.
Yeah.
But I don't have to worry about that.
No,
I don't have to
not
worry
at all.
about.
They're like, that's not how the Force works.
I don't have to worry about going on in there and be like, hey, I love this. It was like, well, you don't actually like Star Wars then if you like this.
Some of the stories are 300, 400, and 500 years after what we know. Some of them are 300 and 400 years before light year. Like one person says, in a galaxy far, far away. Like there's no line that they need to follow. So
Right.
that's the coolest thing.
And
about
I love that about it.
And
yeah.
they do a better take on like a character. The Jackson from like the old like Star Wars comics is a Lupin or a Lupus, whatever. It's like a bunny person.
Right.
So like they got that inspiration from this character that did exist in Star Wars, and then they like
I like when they
twisted
do
it,
that, yeah.
and like just enough to make it like fit in the anime theme. So like if the fan was
Yeah.
like, you ruined this, whatever, it's like, no, they didn't. They
Right.
like
They made it their own.
improved or they made it their own.
Right.
Move on. It's okay.
And
That's cool.
yeah.
And one thing I was thinking about while going into watching it, like I didn't think about it until I turned the first episode on. I was like, is this going to be jarring with them speaking English the whole time with the anime theme, like you were saying? And it wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I know sometimes like dubbed anime can be very weird because it's not made, and it's usually because it's not made to be dubbed.
Yeah.
And this was made to be in English. So,
Right,
but still,
right,
I had
right.
that apprehension. Because every time I watch something that's dubbed, very rarely, and I'm like, yeah, good. This isn't weird to watch at all.
You feel it in a couple episodes.
There is an episode that it's pretty noticeable, and I'm almost thinking they did it purposely as the style to match that, like it is an Americanized one.
It kind of feels like Voltron. Is that the episode you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like the
Okay.
Voltron thing?
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
you're like, it's good because of how they say things.
Yeah. It's like
All right.
"Bah, bah, bah."
But
Yeah,
it's
I
still,
like that.
you
It's
know,
cool.
it's still a person,
Yes.
like a big actor saying it.
Well, you mentioned run times, and we've been hearing now that it seems like it's confirmed that it's going to be right around 90-ish minutes.
Oh yeah.
We're talking about, of course, Venom next week.
Let there be carnage.
All of us are going to be going to see it. I think we're going to go see it Thursday night.
Yeah.
Around 9:00. We're going to go see it over there at the Cinnabar.
Yeah.
And get together and watch a 90-minute movie. How are you guys feeling about about Venom having that shorter runtime? Do you think that that's a good idea approach?
Yeah, I'm
to
here
this
for
film?
that.
And I mean, hindsight is 2020. We could go and watch it and then be like, well, there's a couple of scenes maybe they could have fleshed out a little more. But I mean, with the way everything has been, like I kind of touched on earlier, everything has to be so dang long.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, there are so many things in movies where I'm like, because the director cut is kind of like the wave right now. Like, let the director get as much stuff as, and I don't, like most people, if you talk to them on the internet, they tell you the director's cut is always the best one.
Right.
And that is just not true.
Yeah, some of them are, some of them aren't.
And it's
Very
because
clear.
directors have a tendency to over bloat stuff.
Yeah.
And then pretty much every time a studio or someone else editor will come in and be like, hey, we gotta figure it out. We gotta like narrow this down and get to the point, not just put this in because you shot it.
Yeah.
You have to let it go.
There's plenty of times that we see movies that have shorter runtimes that are just action packed.
Yeah.
If this is 90 minutes and we're watching Carnage and Venom have 3 or 4 different battle sequences,
Right.
I don't think we're going to come away from the movie being upset.
No.
it's
or
like,
disappointed.
how much do I have to
Yeah.
learn about Cletus Cassidy? How much do I have to learn about Eddie Brock?
Just enough to let you know the basis, and like the first act, fine. I think for the majority of people know what they're seeing when they're getting into it, or have had enough time since the introducing of him to kind of do their research.
Yeah.
And it's not that hard to explain.
No.
Psycho Killer gets one of the symbiotes and
Makes
Right.
it super crazy.
and makes him super crazy.
And if you go into the second of a sequel to another movie and you're like, well, I didn't get it. Did you see the first one? No.
Right.
Why?
the
Well,
big issue.
well, okay.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just excited to see a movie that is going to be concise. And I was talking to Austin for our friends at Pop Culture Corner about a week ago. And he was like, he was kind of adamant at first. He was like, it should be longer. I want it to be longer. And then I'm like, well, there's plenty of fantastic movies that the story is only an hour and a half, 2 hours long.
Right.
Then he's like, yeah, well, no, most of the time they're this. And I like the first 2 examples I made are like Mad Max Road Warrior, which is like an hour and 25 minutes, and Mad Max Fury Road, which including credits is exactly 2 hours. And I'm like, those movies are fantastic, and they're
Super good.
under 2 hours.
Super good.
And then I don't remember what he actually made a kind of good point. And then I was like, well, all of the Toy Story movies are an hour and 20 minutes long, and those are some of the best and most concisely told stories. Why can you do it in animation but not in live action? He was like,
That's a good point.
no reason. It's like, exactly.
That's an argument there. That's an argument.
Well, do you think that this movie, well, I mean, we know that we're assuming there's some type of connectivity with this movie. We've heard rumors. We're trying not to be spoiled about what dots are connecting, but
I think it's a little obvious.
are we assuming that we're going to be getting some type of connecting point going into this December when we see the 14 people playing Spider-Man
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
all the cameos that we get? Everyone that's been rumored in this movie, the expectations are going to be incredible.
I think
Right.
I'm going into this thinking like in the first 10 minutes we're gonna see somebody, but throughout the whole movie this should be incredibly ambitious. I've been saying this the whole time. This is the most expensive Marvel movie to date. How do you top Infinity War and Endgame? Like that's pretty crazy, especially
know.
with paying all these people to show up in your film,
Yeah.
however long it needs to be, CGI. The list goes on. I'm thinking everybody's going to be in this, and I think Andrew Garfield's going on a lot of these talk shows trying to like.
Why would he be on a
evade-
talk show in the first place if he
This
wasn't
man
part
has
of
not
this?
done anything
They,
recently.
they like
He's
him.
doing the
He's handsome.
Tammy Faye Baker documentary thing with Jessica Chastain. So he's doing publicity for that.
Oh, there you
go.
But
I
didn't know
everything
that.
when they do questions,
It's all
is
Spider-Man
They
stuff.
start going to that about Spider-Man, and then he's going,
And
I'm
yeah.
just trying to talk about this movie.
Trying to talk about my-
He's
I
like,
don't-
we don't want to talk about that.
I don't know if you guys know how talk shows work. They do the show before they actually do the show. So
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Garfield
Yep.
can act like he's surprised by these questions. He's
Oh, no,
not.
it's not. Not
They're
at
like,
all.
all right, we're going to touch on this because I'm going to be in it. I'm going to say I'm not going to be in it because we want to
Right.
get
Of
publicity for it.
course.
And that's
It's gonna get
that's what's
clicks.
going on there. And I think for like getting people into the movie, like
Butts in
actors.
seats. Oh
No, I
other
mean
way.
like actors. You don't even like to have a Tom Hardy cameo, or excuse me, Venom cameo at the end of
Yeah.
the Spider-Man movie,
Mhm.
or even a Spider-Man cameo at the end of Venom. You don't have to have Tom Holland, and you don't have to have Eddie Brock. You have
You
to
don't.
have the CGI Venom thing,
Mhm.
or a guy in a Spider-Man costume. And so for that reason, I think it's likely we see something. But I think a big part of, I think there's two factors as to why Venom didn't get pushed back more. One, Shang-Chi did really, really well, and everyone went, okay, we can settle down on pushing stuff
Because they
back.
actually
Right.
pushed it up by 2 weeks. I
Yeah.
think,
Right.
right?
They're like,
And
oh, okay.
initially, I think why they were like, oh, we're pushing Venom back to this January. Sony was so quickly like, no, we're not. Because this movie, because of the post-credits or something that happens in it,
It can't-
has
it
to
can't
come out
of
before
January.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
It has
Right.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna be, Spider-Man.
to. I do too.
You know what I mean?
Because if you watch the Spider-Man movie and Venom is like hinted at in it or something, and then you watch the Venom movie, you're not going to get as many butts and seats to be like, ooh, is Spider-Man going to be at the end of Venom? But if they're like, hint at it in the Spider-Man movie and Venom comes out afterwards, which is going to be a harder to sell movie than the
Yeah.
Spider-Man movie, you'll be like less likely to say, oh, I know Spider-Man's or Venom's going to be in the next Spider-Man. I don't need to see Venom to know that.
Right.
Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Oh, it does.
I was just thinking this while you were saying, that him cameoing in the Venom movie, whether it be post credit or towards the end of the film.
Mhm.
What if it's not Tom Holland's Spider-Man?
Right. It's like Garfield.
That
Yeah,
it
that's
is
pretty
Andrew
cool.
Garfield or
Right.
Tobey Maguire that makes
Well,
the
it can't.
cameo.
Well, right. It shouldn't be Toby, right? Because he's already had his Venom,
Right.
Yeah, I can't.
and we should appropriate that universe still exists. That he walked down that street with his jazz hands.
He did. And I
That
hope
he
happened.
danced down that
I
street.
hope,
sure did.
I hope they fix that or something happens. In
Have
this
you guys
movie.
ever seen the commentary for Spider-Man 3 where it's Raimi, Topher Grace, and Kirsten Dunst and Maguire, and they're talking about the scene?
No.
And just the amount of, like, the, what's it called? They talk about it in earnest. Like, they never allude to how ridiculous the scene is. Like, not once is Raimi like, yeah, this was kind of ridiculous, but this is what we were going for.
Right.
No, they're just so earnest when they're talking. Yeah, I love the way Sam, like, he was like, do this and act like this towards the people. And I love Tobey Maguire's like, I love the way you can't tell if people, like, love this version of Peter or hate him. Like, some want to be with him and some want to, like, punch him in the face. I'm like, what?
No one wants to be with
When
that.
he-
Peter.
I don't want to be with him,
He
but I
sort of
just want to
said-
look at like
yeah.
what's happening.
Yeah, he's
kinda wanna
he's sort of
punch him in the
seducing
face.
the landlord's daughter, like talking all
The
sweet
best.
to
Yeah.
her. It would-
The best.
And that scene is funny, but it's like so weird and
It
out
is
of,
very
I don't know.
strange. It is very
It
strange.
seems
It
like
is.
something that's like in the Italian Spider-Man movie or should be.
Yeah,
It's-
he says shalom and he's like eating the cookies, and you're like, is that supposed to be like a mean guy thing
Yeah, like,
to say
what is that?
shalom? Like, what's this about?
yeah.
There's so many
Maybe
weird
it was
things
in
to read out.
2000, what, 4 or 5?
What's
Shalom, something mean people said in 2005.
I
Sure.
guess.
That's why.
What?
or maybe that's something mean
guess.
people
I
that
mean,
Sam Raimi knew.
Oh,
Anyway,
Something weird.
any hoot.
Um,
There's all types of possibilities that we could be getting.
Yeah.
The way that this Venom movie is going to tie into Spider-Man, whether it does or doesn't in a post-credit scene, or if we actually get Tom Hardy or Venom come December when we get to
Exactly.
Spider-Man 3, still spidering.
mhm.
One thing I wanted to
You got Quan
bring
with
up,
that one.
that's good.
one thing I wanted to bring up to you guys tonight is what if,
Mm.
and I don't know if we're still going to call the show What If, or we're going to start calling it What The, because with episode 7,
Y'all didn't like that one?
It
I
was.
don't know.
It was
I
fun.
don't. I just
liked
don't.
it.
I don't know.
I like
anymore.
Thor. How the alternate reality Thor he's the exact same. They're
Well,
like they're trying to peg it as like, oh well, what would Thor be if he didn't have a brother?
It's literally
Yeah, hold
He's
on.
the same guy.
And that's
Oh, yeah,
that
He
was
just
the-
is a little bit more relaxed.
That was my biggest gripe with the episode. It was better. I liked this episode more than the last episode by a mile, even though I didn't love this one.
Right.
But they did the same thing with this one that they did with the last one. They were like, what if Tony Stark never went in that cave? We'd be a
He'd be-
terrible person.
Yeah.
No one is surprised by that.
No.
And he would literally be who he was before. That's not
Right.
surprising. It's like, who would Thor be without Loki? Oh, he'd be who Thor was before he landed on Earth in the first one.
Yeah,
Like
chilling.
literally
It felt
nothing.
like along the first movie.
Yeah,
Like, it's the
exactly.
same Thor from the first movie.
I
He's just
loved it.
partying and naive. It was fun,
I liked it.
but it wasn't like a twist.
No,
you
it was just a
know?
fun. It was a
It's
fun
thing.
episode. There was a lot of cameos. The Easter eggs were all over the place.
Yeah.
And it was arguably the coolest fight Captain Marvel and Thor
Of all of them.
of
I
all
did
of
enjoy
them.
that.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was
was
a
fun, yeah.
really cool fight.
They did a good job.
So, how bad was it?
Okay.
No, I didn't.
I don't think it was that bad.
Okay.
I'm concerned with how it's going. Paul, you go.
I think I know what Frank is. It doesn't seem like they matter or are all that interesting, and they're not doing much different stuff. They're like, what if this character was the exact same way and kind of did the exact same thing? We have party scenes with Thor before. We know
Right.
Thor's a party animal,
Right.
and throwdown with Captain Marvel is cool, but I mean, it's animated. I'm not like that hyped about it. That part is the best part of the episode.
Super cool.
Those
Yeah.
two throwing down, and
Super cool.
I don't really have anything bad per se about the episode other than they like again made it seem like Thor would be a different person because of this, but he wasn't.
Right.
Pretty big
And-
voice cast for all the cameos. and stuff
Was
they
it?
had.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
Yeah,
big
what's
voice
her name?
cast.
Who?
Natalie Portman.
Jane Foster. Yeah, there you
Yep.
go.
Yeah.
Yep.
She was there. I mean, they had a lot of the different actors that actually played some of these characters
Valkyrie.
Mhm.
were doing a cameo voice roles.
Everybody.
Okay. This
Everybody
is
was there.
this is my issue is that we know that there's only 2 episodes left,
Oh.
and they're Jonathan's obviously disappointed with that. They keep building this tension when they end the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So they're giving you 2 episodes to resolve all of this, because you have this tension that you've got from the first, second, third, basically from almost every episode. There's some
Mhm.
type of tension, or cliffhanger, how the episode ends.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe with the exception of like maybe the T'Challa episode.
Right.
I don't know. Becoming Star-Lord. Maybe there's no tension with that or
Well,
big twist. But then they're not really resolving that, and then they go into these different tones episode to episode, and they're not resolving the actual tension.
I agree with Frank. I think the mistake they have made is they have not made it connected enough, but they also have not made it not connected enough. You know what I mean? They should have gone harder one way or the other.
Yeah, there is a gray area, but like that's what we knew going into them. It's what if. It's some of them are ending and that's it, and some of them
See,
might.
I don't think they are. I think they.
No. I'm getting very confused. What episodes do you guys actually think could be like moving forward?
I think all of them are going to come together. There's promo material with Evil Doctor Strange
Okay.
and
I think the next 2 are just going to be the ones
There's
that are going to be
there's a zombie Thanos
Yeah.
right at the end of
with the stones.
the party time with this
The zombie
guy.
Thanos?
There's the
Oh, not the zombie Thanos.
they
what,
all.
what are those called? Destroyers, like
Right.
in the
Mm.
armor, and the armor, the face lifts up, and that's Vision.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's some type of cataclysmic
It's-
potential
it's-
event
it's,
happening
it's
at,
like
at the end
ultimate-
of every.
Ultimate Ultron vision. He has like Ultron's
Yeah.
body.
We've got zombie Thanos.
Right.
We've got Ultron Vision with the stones.
You've got super sad Doctor Strange.
No, the connection there is Shumagorath. He's in the Captain Captain Carter,
First one.
episode, and he's in the what's it called?
Sad Doctor Strange.
Sad Doctor Strange episode.
Yeah, Multiverse of Sadness.
And then what? Multiverse of Sadness.
That was good.
Bum. What a producer we got. And then there we go. Yes, that's all I wanted. I love you, Quantum. Sorry.
The Captain Carter, you could possibly have. They have this some type of creature that's going through this time warp, whatever thing that Captain Carter is ending up meeting Fury and Hawkeye at the end of that episode. That could have been like that creature could have been like Chthon or something going into Shumagorath. We don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what my point is. That like we have the 2 episodes there, and I don't know if they're really going to tie any of these loose ends up.
But they don't really need to.
They don't.
Right?
But I'm saying that
Isn't
they
it
created
cool?
this.
You want them to, but like,
you want there
yeah,
to be some type of solution, don't you?
No, I don't think so.
I disagree entirely.
I don't think there's any. I don't know why this is like why everything needs to connect. I think the what if stuff they're leading in, but also it could be WandaVision flashbacks of like, well, they meant this, so we're expecting this guy later.
Okay.
Why is Bryan Cranston on the television? It's like, why is Zombie
Mephisto,
Thanos?
dude.
Mephisto, right?
Yeah, but they're having
Mephisto.
the same characters show
I'm
up
glad
in
that we got
different
that Mephisto.
episodes.
And are they
man.
going to do this crazy like thing in an animated TV show
And-
that has
and-
had low view count on any other Disney Plus like show
And
that
they
they've
have
made?
the
Facts.
I wish I could remember. It's
Like,
Captain
factual.
Carter
I don't know.
and Sad Doctor Strange in the promo. There's like confirmed there will be some sort of
Yeah,
crossover in one of these episodes.
yeah.
this next one coming up and the
And-
one after that.
That's what I'm saying. They should have leaned harder into that, or
Okay.
just did what you were saying.
Yeah.
Not made it seem like they were going to connect at all. Not at the end be like, oh, but what about this big? And then go, oh, well, that would be interesting to see. And
Yeah.
then, but they could still do something with that.
They could.
But so far, they
not.
haven't.
Right, and they have 2 episodes, which is an hour of content.
I just don't have faith
Animated.
that they're going to make
could
it
be
animated
longer than
content.
30 minutes.
They
Could be pretty cool.
They could be 10 minutes.
Could be.
Could be pretty cool.
They could be the watcher sitting down and goes, "I've made a mistake. I'm going to stop looking at things for a little bit. We'll be good from now on."
Credits.
Credits.
And just roll the credits.
And he like pushes the credits back down.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Okay.
just don't think it's been terribly interesting.
Okay.
And the tease that it might connect hasn't been as interesting as maybe it could have been if they just like were like, yo.
Full send.
So
Yeah,
you,
exactly.
Let's go around really quick.
Wilson.
You would be okay if they don't really connect anything. They would just have like 2 more episodes that don't necessarily have anything to do with these prior 7, or would you like them to have some type of connectivity for the other episodes?
In a perfect
If
world,
not in the last episode, if not in the next episode, if they do it in the last episode, if they just bring everything together.
I think in a perfect world, it'd be nice to get some connection. I think if they do it in the last episode, that's fine. It doesn't. I don't need to see what Zombie Thanos was doing. I don't
Okay.
need. You know what I mean? I think enough of the idea that you can think about it is cool enough. You know, I think that they introduced it and kind of just teased the fact that what if? That's it, dude. Like,
Variant.
you know?
I'm okay if they don't connect.
Okay.
But like if they figure it out in a way that actually makes sense and not just say like, well, this is all somehow in the same universe and they're all like breaking into each other.
Mhm.
That way they can explain what happened at the end of Loki. Like I just feel like there's a lot that they kind of have to explain why they should connect. And they do have an hour. That's cool. Or 2 30-minute episodes or however long.
Mhm.
So if they're able to make it work, that's great. I just really don't want it to be rushed. And I really don't want it to be
They,
like
they run
it's-
about
it's
30
just been
minutes. Is
working.
that
Yeah.
the episodes
I
run about
think
30 minutes?
The unfortunate part for me with a lot of these have been the most interesting part of the episode has been the, hey, look at this right at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
And everything else has just kind of been like, okay, you got the Captain Marvel fight with Thor.
But like
Which-
Doctor Strange was so good.
That's the
The
only
entire episode was
that
fantastic. That's the
episode-
best episode.
Very good.
that episode and the
It
Black
was-
Panther
it was
episode
pretty
are the
great.
only 2 episodes where I can say there wasn't a gimmick in it where I went, ooh,
Right.
oh, okay. It was the whole episode. I was like, this is interesting. And at the end where the Watcher talks to Doctor Strange, I was like, ooh, that was the ooh moment in that one. But the whole episode was fantastic. I couldn't even tell you what the ooh moment in the Black Panther one was. That was just a fun watch entirely.
Yeah. it was
All the
really
other
good.
ones have been like, oh, this is cool. I guess this is kind of just the same thing as happening that happened in the real universe, just differently a little bit.
Well,
Yeah.
And
what
Differently a little bit.
What if?
Okay.
What if we had seen Peter on Earth interacting like he's interacting with Ego at the end. That's what happens.
Yeah.
He meets Ego anyway. He's
Yeah.
working at the Dairy Queen.
Mm-hmm.
He's mopping the floors and Ego shows up.
Great.
know,
oh, see, there you go.
What if he gets somehow involved with the Wakandans and he's there, and now that he becomes Black Panther. They do completely like
That would be
switch roles.
very interesting. Luckily, Killmonger got that.
Yeah,
so
he is the Black
in
Panther.
that universe. he is.
I
Yeah.
don't think I'd ever want to see
Peter Quill.
I don't either.
Peter Quill like, hey,
No, I do.
no.
Yes, I do. I
Well,
think that would be way more. I
It
think
would just be
because
too funny.
it's so out there, but
Yeah.
that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
And that's like my main gripe is that all of this stuff is more or less the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, okay.
Peter Quill, raised by the Wakandans, trained in by
Would
the
be
Dora Milaje.
Wild. That would be so interesting.
Hasselhoff forever.
He's allergic to cats.
He's allergic to cats.
So what's he gonna do, man? Black Panther? Come on.
Come
He's
on.
kidding. Okay. So, guys,
What's up to everybody in the chat? I haven't said it yet.
I appreciate you guys being here with us tonight.
Drop a like.
We apologize.
Subscribe if you are new. Tell a friend. Share it with a friend. We love to be here every week.
Let us know
Yes.
what you think about What If, because I feel like Jonathan, I don't know if Jonathan loves it. He seems like he kind of loves it.
I like
don't
it.
understand.
I don't
but-
either. I watch every episode and I go, okay, and then I like go like for a little walk around the house.
You're like, what?
I'm like, that was
Go
cool.
for a walk around the house.
It was cool.
Like you think about it. I know I'm not like I'm not excited for the next episode.
And that's a problem.
I'm literally just watching it.
I'm
to,
indifferent.
like,
It just shows up and
tell
I'm like,
everybody about it.
cool.
Yeah, I'm not really that.
See, and for people like us who are
You're doing
super
it for
into
homework?
it,
Yeah.
I think
It's an assignment.
I was
Yeah.
excited for
Yeah.
zombies. I was excited for Doctor Strange.
Super cool.
And I was really delighted that the Black Panther episode was fantastic.
Yeah.
The rest I was just kind of like Carter was terrible.
Very hard to watch.
I think the worst episode was the Killmonger. I think that episode was terrible. It's just people acting like idiots the whole time.
Yeah, Killmonger's like, actually, I can fight this robot.
Watch last week's video to understand why he hates it so much.
Yep.
Mm,
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna get into that right now.
there you go.
Please don't.
Okay, well, you had mentioned Peter Quill, and the actor that plays Peter Quill, Chris Pratt,
It's a him.
it's a him. There was a casting announcement today. We're going to get a little bit into some news, Sonny. Chris Pratt, your favorite actor.
My absolute favorite actor. That's not my favorite actor. He's doing. I up until an hour ago, I thought it was live action. He's voicing the new Super Mario Bros.
Both of them. No, just kidding.
No. Who's Luigi?
Charlie Day.
Charlie Day.
Yeah, the cast is stacked.
Jack
Uh-oh.
Black is Bowser.
Jack Black is Bowser.
Super cool.
That's
Fred
good, yeah.
Armisen is Cranky Kong.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they added like 3 other random characters.
Seth Green
If you
is
go
Donkey
on.
Kong.
I don't even know. Oh, maybe I do know who
Cranky
that
Kong
is.
is like the old.
Okay, yeah, I
Donkey
do
Kong.
know who that is.
But they're like,
I didn't know.
they
that was
just
his
added
name, though.
3 random characters to like
So-
in the Mario fan.
Keegan Michael
Keegan Michael Key is Toad.
Toad.
Is this gonna be like a? Where is this coming out? Theaters, Netflix, Hulu.
I would assume theaters.
I think it's an animated.
Next year,
it's
Christmas
coming
or
out next
whatever.
year around Christmas time.
So
same people who made Minions.
Thursday night, midnight, 9 o'clock, whatever. Are you going to see this?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
I won't be. You guys can tell me how it is.
No, I can't because I won't be either.
Would you watch this, or would you watch Space Jam 2?
Space Jam 2 was too
I would
long.
watch this.
you
I would
liked
watch
this?
this.
I liked it, but it was
I would watch
way
this.
too long.
We'll talk about it after. The first 30 minutes is just LeBron playing basketball. For those who haven't seen Baseman 2, and you can just do that on the internet.
I was gonna say yeah.
I'm a fan of watching LeBron James play basketball,
Yeah.
This is true. This is true. You
but
can-
it's in movie form.
which makes it
This weekend,
less interesting.
wow. This weekend we have that Netflix event where we're going to get some trailers and some footage
Yeah.
of some potential upcoming Netflix series.
Oh, that's right.
The event, of course, is called Da-Dum.
Da-dum.
For
So
when you
good.
turn on your Netflix, it's that
Da-dum.
noise it makes
Yep.
when you're trying to
I
be
like that
quiet.
needs to
and
be
watch
explained.
Netflix. I don't know if it did or not, but it was just now. But
It happened.
I think that's great.
I
And
think so too.
I think Netflix clearly knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Even stuff that isn't, in the same realm. Like I'm excited for You season 3. That the first 2 got me. Paul doesn't like it. I like all the like little murder mystery stuff. You know what I mean?
See, and I just have a problem when characters just somehow fumble the bag so hard where I'm like, you like are so incompetent. Like, all right, I'm gonna
here's Paul
spoil
talking about he hating
episode
things.
like 6 of You.
You've
the
watched more
first season.
You than Breaking Bad.
Actually, no, I finished the first season.
Okay, thank
or
goodness.
I'm
There we
like
go.
I'm
Oh.
like a episode or 2 away.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what matters here.
6 episode season.
I was watching You with somebody else, so it
Oh,
wasn't
okay.
like I
Okay,
like was
that's
like,
fair.
you. But it gets to this point in one of the
Very funny
episodes
how this
where
is being explained.
one character who's very annoying has a gun to the main character who also is very annoying. And I'm like, oh, that's it. He's going to get caught and have to get out of it somehow. And somehow like I said, spoilers for you, season 1. She ends up getting shot and killed, and I'm like, you were like 20 yards from this guy.
Yes.
How did this happen?
Yes,
And I
I'm
went-
here for the Netflix
And you know what
drama
I did?
series.
I went, you know what? I'm done watching this. It's like
Good television.
so when I stopped watching Stranger Things season 1 or 2,
Nice.
I love David Harbour's character.
Yes.
And I'm going to spoil that right now too. So if you're not caught up on that, this isn't a big spoiler. It's a minor one.
If you haven't watched that, you probably
There's a
If
scene
you haven't
where
watched Stranger Things,
there's
you
like
probably
a
aren't going to.
there's a tunnel under like a farm, and this hole opens up, and he looks at it, and I go, oh, he's not going to jump in there because he's not an idiot. And then he jumped in, and I was like, oh, I'm done watching this
Well, he had to jump in there. It's part of the
because the script said so. Because
yeah.
the script was poorly written.
Man,
he
Stranger
had to
Things
jump-
was super good. Don't listen to Paul.
So
If you haven't watched it,
imagine
go
the
watch
show,
it.
But that's,
Or all
that's
the-
the sign of a bad
Wait,
script.
wait,
when
hold
you
on.
go, I can't think of a logical reason for this character who has been smart
So
the
you're
entire
telling
Wait.
me in the horror movie when someone doesn't trip and fall,
There it
you're
is.
like yeah, they wouldn't trip and fall.
I don't watch that many horror movies.
Wait. What if the plot of Journey to the Center of the Earth, a big hole opens up, and they all look and they're like, "Nah, we're not going to do that."
That's not a very
Then
good
there's
movie.
no movie.
And then the movie ends.
the movie's over.
They
And
have
he
to
has
go.
to fall in.
You could write into the script a better reason for him to end up down there besides just being
Okay.
like, "Doy," and then
Okay,
jumping
like,
into
look,
it.
go, like
one of
kicking
the,
him
one
in.
of the best movies ever is Interstellar. I will put that on top 5 for sure.
Whoa.
That's pretty high. I love that movie, but I don't know about that.
If watch it a couple times and you
I have.
learn a couple little things to it. If he just doesn't go to space and the world,
Yeah, but there's a good reason for him to go
Correct,
to space.
but
There's not a
there's-
good reason for David Harbour to jump in
he
the tunnel.
had to go in there, man. Watch the rest of the
We're
show.
going to get into every movie when a character makes a good and or bad decision and how much it might upset you tonight at 5.
This is true. I could. Me and him could argue about
No,
what
and yeah.
pisses us off and what doesn't for an hour. For sure.
happening
then
now.
And Memento, what if we have bad handwriting?
You're like, I'm watching it.
I'm watching it.
Big
That's great.
reason why it made me mad enough to turn off is because I really liked that character, and he had been very smart the whole time, and then all of a sudden he just gets in the tunnel for no reason. He's like,
That's
Man,
fair.
it's a show about interdimensional beings.
and it's the
dude.
same
The
reason
Upside Down.
why a lot of the sequel
happen.
Alien movies are kind of annoying
Whoa.
because they know
Careful.
about the eggs. And
You said, "Whoa,
even,
careful."
even people who have like read notes in like Covenant is a big example where they know about this stuff and they
Right.
see these eggs and then they still go and stick their face in it. And I'm
Well,
always
in
like,
Covenant, all right. For anyone who
it's-
hasn't seen Covenant, they don't get no eggs on them. There's this little spore stuff as the planet's been infested, you know. And then the guy
when he
gets
said
it.
careful, I
Careful.
knew he was like waiting for you to mistake on something.
Come
yeah,
on.
well, okay, there's plenty of examples.
Alien is a perfect
He's
franchise.
like-
Jonathan is a
no, there-
huge
you're wrong.
alien nerd.
Quadrilogy.
Jonathan, you're wrong.
Quadrilogy.
There's
Thor
110% an egg that someone sticks their head over. It's
movies. In Covenant?
in Covenant,
Prometheus?
in which
And
character? Oh, maybe
Prometheus
it is Prometheus.
is the
Oh.
scientist, is the dumbass.
Okay, yeah,
Oh.
and he's just
Dumb
like,
guy.
I was waiting for
okay,
him.
sorry, Prometheus.
Oh, blooper.
But this incredibly intelligent guy who knows this guy's acting weird, who's seen a bunch of these notes and stuff, he goes, you know what? I'm going to stick my face over
I'm going to
this.
stick my face right
And I'm
in.
just like, all right. It
I
just
agree.
Who
annoys me.
hasn't done that?
I agree.
It annoys me when smart characters
agree.
act like idiots.
I agree. That is one of the, Paul's.
It really grinds
Paul's
my
genius.
gears.
You guys
All
are
makes
great.
sense, actually.
You guys are great.
He said, well, Paul's genius. Oh, well, that settles that.
That settles that act.
Well, Sonny, did you have any other news or any other fights to start? between-
Nothing that was that cool. I know the Fantastic Beasts just released that they're going to be doing another
Yeah.
movie,
Oh.
which is really cool.
Next,
Shout out Tiffany.
April.
My buddy Alonzo in the studio just got back from deployment.
Yo.
What up? Super in the chat all the
I
time.
don't know if he's in there. or if you
His
see him
girlfriend
in-
Tiffany's in the chat right now, and we
Yo.
were talking about Harry Potter. She loves Harry Potter.
Yo,
Hey, what's up? I'm on movie 3 or 4.
He's on movie 3.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
that's 3 for sure.
So
Yeah.
you haven't gained any progress on those.
I'm on Harry Potter and
the,
Come on, you got something.
the Goblet of.
the Goblet of Truth.
Fire.
Right, that's what I meant.
It gets good, man.
That one's good. My
Yeah.
boy.
But the new ones, I think with all the money that they've made and all the CGI that they can do, the story is going to be probably.
Aren't they going to
like-
do another Harry Potter something?
Isn't Jude Law? Yeah,
They're going to do a
That's-
series, right?
yeah.
Jude Law is young Dumbledore, right? And that's what this next one's about. Right?
Yes,
You're pronouncing
secret-
it wrong.
I think
It's Humble Dump.
I believe it's the Secrets of Dumbledore.
Yeah, that is what it is.
That's
Yeah.
the actual name of it?
Humble Dump.
Okay, I'm out.
You're like, nah.
The Secrets of Dumbledore.
You're like, nah. I'm out,
Like
dude.
this cookie recipe.
See, I told you, Tiffany's hyped for Harry Potter.
That's
I'm sure she
exciting.
loves that.
That's exciting.
Stay tuned.
I do like
Later,
Harry
later
Potter.
this year, we might do a Harry Potter thing.
And
I
we'll talk
think
about the Chamber of
Come on.
Commerce.
Humbledore. What?
I hate
Chamber of
both of you guys so much.
Uh-oh.
Those
Guys,
dad jokes did not work.
They
all
were-
right, it
they were
didn't.
just-
Oh, Hit
Okay.
Monkey. Hit Monkey. I don't know anything about it. It's a Hulu show coming out.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it. I know that
Good
it
start.
is a 50. There's a 50-second trailer. It is about a monkey of some sort, and he has a tuxedo.
Holy crap.
You're like, no way, dude.
This is awesome.
But he has a tuxedo, okay, and he's.
Tiffany said I hated
Oh,
hair.
goodness.
We should have did the trailer. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Frank.
He's got a gun in his foot.
He said it's on Hulu. I don't know what it is.
That's what we do here at Into the West. We talk about things we don't know anything
I
about.
swear. Look, I have an iPad with notes. There's nothing about it about
Hit
Hitmonkey,
monkey question mark.
but it looks super cool.
This is a Marvel
but
character.
I do
It
think
is a Marvel character.
I
and
do
it was
think
a
it's
comic based
interesting.
off of it.
because you were talking about you thought it was Detective Chimp.
I thought
from
it was.
DC at first, and you said that it's like
What I say? What I say?
Oh my god.
What I say? Tell me what I say.
it was interesting because you explained it, and I was like, that sounds like Detective Chimp, and it sounds like another thing that DC did first in the comics that
And-
Marvel is going to get to first
Yeah.
in like visual media, like TV and stuff.
Wow. I'm so excited for this. I'm sorry. I like monkeys.
Oh
Here it
my
is.
goodness
Here
gracious!
it is.
Ah!
Sonny's new favorite series.
seen
Look,
it
look,
here
look! Check it out,
Monkey.
guys. Check it out.
Oh, but it's a bamboo, not a chimp.
Connected. You're gonna have to kill some evil people that totally deserve to die. Because it's your destiny. Well, not your most subtle work. You know, if you're looking for a little constructive criticism.
Olivia Munn.
Time to put an end to this monkey
George
business.
Takei again.
Smoke show.
He's coming for me.
No, he's one of the good guys. He's here to protect us all.
Look, listen, listen.
I never thought a 6-inch inseam would turn me on.
Ah!
I'm so glad that
He puts a pistol in his foot.
Doesn't that look
it does.
pretty cool?
It does look
You're
pretty
gonna
cool.
watch it. You're gonna watch it.
I can't wait. November 17th. The
Thank you so
countdown has
much.
begun.
Thank you so much, Quan, for getting that.
Wow.
That was on the fly. Thank you very much.
So
We
there's that in
appreciate getting
MODOK, right? On Hulu.
MODOK
Yeah.
was actually pretty funny.
I heard it was funny. I
So,
haven't had a chance to check
Why
it
is
out.
Oh.
Hulu getting these random?
Marvel stuff.
That's cool.
that. I don't know.
It seems like it's Marvel's like kind of everything.
Adult platform.
Well, not. I don't even know.
You know?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And for animation, like other than What If, it seems
Mhm.
like that's where most Marvel animation is going.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. That's
Probably
actually
safer
cool.
that way because it's like the kids.
And they're
Disney
more.
Plus.
And they're more. What's it called? Less known characters. Like MODOK, we know who MODOK is, but most people don't know who
Right.
MODOK
Yeah.
is.
That's fair.
If anyone's seen MODOK, he's a big face in a chair. You've probably seen him in a meme, but not recognize that that's
Right.
that character.
Right.
But it seems like a little more off, like C-list, C-tier characters
Mm.
are kind of getting their Hulu.
So if we got like a
animation
Howard
stuff.
the Duck thing,
And he might,
I mean,
And
yeah,
we still could.
We
that'd be
still
so
could, yeah.
Oh, that would be the best tie-in.
married Darcy in the What
He
If.
did.
That's right. He was in there.
Best
too.
Marvel character, Darcy, and now second best Marvel character. Howard
It was
the
like a
Duck
that,
together.
that What If episode was a combination
Better.
of a bunch of different like 80s comedies.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me out.
Okay,
We got WandaVision.
that's true.
Now we get Howard and Darcy.
Oh, that would be
Okay.
interesting. I'd watch that
But is it
for
live
the first
action?
couple episodes.
And he's like CG,
yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
or they're both cartoons, and then
Oh.
it becomes real life.
It's like,
Like a
Ted.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit type of thing?
Yeah.
Mm.
You could have Darcy and Howard
Uh-oh.
the Duck and Agent
Colson?
no
with the
from
magic trick.
WandaVision.
With the magic tricks.
Woo? Agent Woo?
Agent Woo.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be good
I would
was
love
like,
that.
I was like, get the guess right.
with the magic tricks.
Hi said in the chat, Adam Warlock and Howard the Duck need a buddy space cop adventure show.
Ooh,
That would be cool.
That would be sick.
I like that.
Wow.
That would be funny.
Good call.
That would be good.
Good call. I like that a lot.
We were going to talk a little bit about creators as far as like artists and writers. Something we're looking forward to. With Donny Cates. He's going to be. He had an incredible run with Venom. He's going to be taking over writing the Hulk. I think that starts next month. I think that series comes out.
And Al Ewing is taking over Venom, right?
Yep.
They're doing the switcheroo, which doesn't usually happen.
That doesn't happen usually for the like bigger titles like that. That doesn't take place. Donny Cates is still writing Thor. If you know,
Mhm.
I know we don't talk enough about titles in Marvel to pick up and read. I mean, we've been talking about Philip Kennedy Johnson and his work on the Alien series,
Yeah.
but another Marvel series that is like always consistent and has been really well written and well illustrated is Thor.
Yeah.
Donny Cates' run on Thor has been great, and I think that he's going to do great with Hulk.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I agree. It's one of the.
Oh, you agree?
Why'd you make it like that?
Ooh, we're in agreement.
I didn't do it like that. I just was like, made it
but
sensual.
I put Dark Ages and Hulk are the only two. Oh, and Alien are the only 2 or 3 Marvel stuff I have on my pull box, and that's not an indictment of the writers at Marvel. It's just I don't find the characters as
Compelling
interesting,
enough?
exactly compelling to spend money every week on them.
Mhm.
But when these writers get put on them, like I read most of the Venom run and the King in Black, and Donny Cates and Al Ewing are guys that I will get into their work. Like I've read the first 2 volumes of the Immortal Hulk, and they're weird, but they're great, and that's what I think a Hulk comic should be.
Yeah.
And and I got into Karen Gillan, who we talked about for Boom Studios on We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Oh no,
Once in Future.
Once in Future.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her what's the movie coming out? I'm blanking. Eternals. Her
Eternals,
run on
yeah.
Eternals stores in it, and it's
Sick.
very, very cool. That's pretty good too.
sick.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So lot of options for you there with as far as Marvel's concerned. I mean, we don't talk about Marvel a lot. We spend a lot of time talking about Boom Studios and DC. It's because it's mostly what we read is Boom Studios
Agreed.
and DC Comics.
Yeah.
I mean, don't really read that many Image titles. I mean, mostly DC and Boom Studios. But
Radiant Black.
Radiant
is,
Black's been good.
And is Geiger Image?
Geiger is, I think it's his own label. I think
It's Image / Mad Ghost, which is Jeff Johns' production company.
His imprint.
I to this day I got a hold of the comic I showed you guys in the group chat. I still catch up on Spawn. I read a lot of Spawn.
Spawn's just great.
I read a lot of Spawn. And it's just something different that's not like, Marvel DC. You know?
Yeah, and Marvel's doing a fun thing. It's called Infinity Comics. It's online comics, and they're a little more geared towards children. But it's cool for them to do that and kind of like maybe get kids into comics. Hey, instead of watching a show you give your kid a tablet. Instead of watching a show, they can read something about Jeff the Land Shark, who's like Deadpool's like little pet best friend,
Right.
and get kids in the comics.
Oh,
And I think that's cool.
I like
That is really cool.
I like that
We're
a lot.
wrapping up. As we wrap up, we want to talk about Jonathan Hickman. He's going to be ending his whole X-Men run. X-Men Inferno storyline starts next week.
Yep.
So there's be a 4 or 6 issue thing, kind of wrapping up the whole Hickman Way of X.
Yeah, his
House of X,
overarching
Powers of
story,
10,
yeah.
all of it. He's sort of wrapping that whole thing up before it seems like he'll be heading to Substack too. He'll be going the way of Substack.
I'm excited to see what he does there. And as we've learned more about Substack, I'm a little more like warm on it than I was when we first brought it up. But
Paul's
Hickman,
getting warm.
if you go back and watch our interview with Philip Kennedy Johnson, which is fantastic, Hickman's run on X-Men is like a great way to do long form runs on certain titles.
Yeah.
And I got on late to the Hickman run, so I'm waiting until I can get all the volumes and read them all at once.
Sure.
And it excites me that A, this is wrapping up and I can start it, and B, that Philip Kennedy Johnson has been referencing that as kind of a blueprint for how he's going to do Superman and the long form storytelling there.
That's really cool. I mean, and if that's a pattern that he's following, I mean, and he's writing a character like Superman. I mean, that's going to be nuts.
Real cool.
Guys, we appreciate so much you taking the time to watch us be crazy this week.
Watch me and Sonny argue.
And watch Sonny argue with Paul.
I felt like it was Jonathan and Sonny versus me today.
Sonny, Jonathan is
My
coming in a
darn
little
right.
hot.
My bad.
No, I loved every second.
My
of it.
bad.
I'm not gonna lie. I had a Red Bull
thrive
before
off
everything.
negativity.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true.
My environment.
It was the Red Bull.
Usually
beforehand.
that's their wheelhouse, though.
Yeah.
They
Donovan's
They
not here.
bring
We
it.
miss you.
Yeah.
We walked out of
Donovan.
Shang-Chi a couple weeks ago, and sorry, just list a little anecdote before we sign off. And I'm like, no, I'd give it like, what did I say, a 7.5 out of 10 or an 8
Something
out of
like
10.
that.
And you're like, whoa, man, that's terrible. And Jonathan's like, yeah, it was cool, 6 out of 10. And I was like, yell at him now.
Like, no, I'm hating on you, man.
I love Kung Fu Hustle. You know,
That's what he said. I love Kung Fu
I
Hustle.
love Kung Fu
I love
Hustle.
that
It was just
comparison.
like Kung Fu Hustle.
With
6 out of 10.
dragons. 6 out of 10.
With dragons. Wow.
Yo, real quick, I just wanted to shout out my boy Dakota. He's doing a card show October 22nd through the 24th at the Vegas Expo.
Okay.
Everybody, I don't know too much about cards, but I know the money in there is insane. So it's a huge thing going on.
Yep.
He's a great guy. Art by Dakota. He makes art and all the kind of good stuff. I actually need a piece for my new place. So I just want to shout out my buddy really quick.
Yeah.
I love you.
Go follow him.
Yeah, go follow my boy.
Yeah. Give him a follow.
That's it.
Guys, thank you so much. We'll talk to you soon. Make sure you add us to your poll box. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Let us know how we're doing.
Yes.
We will talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Later.
Bye.
Later, y'all.